Hey guys, Travis here. So today I wanted to touch on the subject of sources and whether or not certain sources are credible as sources. You see, I'm glad that people are concerned enough with their own health to go out and look for information on the interwebs, but that can be problematic at times. Because when we open that can of worms, oftentimes we're assaulted with poor information. But that seems to be the nature of the beast, I'm afraid. My philosophy is that it's always best to be skeptical about what you hear or read until you can at least verify the data for yourself. It's just logical. And while we're on the topic of logic, there's a certain logical fallacy called argument from authority, which simply means that someone is making an argument based on the beliefs of someone else with authority, or someone you believe to be an expert in that particular field. Never is this a larger problem than when people are quoting works from doctors. No, not those doctors. These doctors. Now don't get me wrong. I'm in no way suggesting that I'm more qualified to met out advice than a medical doctor, but in that same vein, arguing that doctors are right based not on the evidence provided, but simply because they're doctors is just plain stupid. And traditionally, you would think, well, that guy's a doctor, so he must have gone to medical school for like a million years, so he should know everything about the human body, including nutrition, right? Well, not necessarily. Because you see, in 2006, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition did a study where they surveyed all the medical schools in the nation on the quality of their nutritional education. Of the schools that responded, only 30% of those required an actual course in nutrition to be taken, and then 88% reported that they probably needed more nutritional education. With that information in hand, I decided to take a look for myself. So I looked up the required coursework for all the students attending Harvard Medical School, and there were absolutely no nutritional courses listed. If you don't believe me, I can link it down in the description below. Now, I'm sure they learned some nutrition from biochemistry and physiology, but to which degree is this topic taught during courses that aren't specifically for that subject? So if you ask me, it appears that our nutritional education for our medical schools seems to be a bit lacking. Which brings me to my next segment, qualification. When arguing a case made by a doctor, does anyone really actually look at what their specialty is in? Let me put this another way. Would you ask a dentist to perform brain surgery on you? I think it's safe to assume that your answer is no. But why is that? Well, obviously, it's because that's not his medical specialty and he's not really qualified to perform brain surgery, right? And while I know that's an extreme example, is it really all that different from taking nutritional advice from an otherwise unqualified doctor? You see, in the medical field, there are nutritional and nutritional guidance experts. They're called dietitians, or RDs. Now, to illustrate my point, let's look at some of the more popular doctors out there that freely give nutritional advice. Dr. Mercola, osteopathic physician, not a dietitian. Dr. Oz, cardiothoracic surgeon, not a dietitian. Dr. Davis, who wrote the book Wheat Belly and started this whole panic about gluten, cardiologist, not a dietitian. And finally, Dr. Lustig, who popularized the movement against high fructose corn syrup by calling it a poison, pediatric endocrinologist, not a dietitian. Now, just because these people aren't dietitians doesn't necessarily mean that they're automatically wrong. Hell, I'm not a dietitian. But arguing for their cause based solely on the fact that they are doctors is not going to cut it. And again, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to hate on the medical field, nor am I trying to lessen the prestige of having a PhD. Being a doctor is an incredible profession, and a lot of them are heroes who are saving lives every single day. All I'm saying is be skeptical. Don't believe everything you're told just because the person who's telling you happens to have a PhD. To err is human. See you next time, guys.